We have some breaking news. The San Francisco 49ers make a big time coaching change, and that change is Kyle Shanahan and staff, John Lynch, whoever, have decided that Steve Wilks will no longer be the 49ers defensive coordinator moving forward. So Steve Wilks has been fired from the defensive coordinator position. As we know, Steve Wilks was hired on to kind of fit into what the San Francisco 49ers already had going. Not necessarily bringing in his own staff. He had to fit in with these guys, and it just wasn't a good fit. And I think you can really even look at the Super Bowl in the final moments of the game when Steve Wilks is calling a zero blitz and Kyle Shanahan sees it and he has to call a timeout to get them out of that play. And so clearly it's not a fit. And Kyle Shanahan met with local media to provide this information just now. And he said, this is a quote provided by Kate Rooney of Cron 4. Kyle Shanahan says, once I realized a different direction was better for our organization, it was something that I had to do. So Kyle Shanahan moves on from defensive coordinator Steve Wilks in a somewhat shocking move. Again, yesterday, Kyle Shanahan spoke with media, and he said that he expects all the coaches to be back. When he was asked the first time around about this, he was very non-committal. And then he was asked again 4 minutes later, is Steve Wilks coming back? And he says, as of right now, we expect everyone to be back. And I talked about this on live. When you hear Kyle, when you hear these guys talk like this and they leave things open-ended, you can never just be like, oh, well, he expects everyone to be back. I expect a lot of things, but that doesn't mean that's how it plays out. So we were on high alert. I already felt this coming. When we found out, I think it was David Lombardi who tweeted just 10 minutes before that this conference call was announced, which is, again, that's not a very ample turnaround to alert media that you have a conference call going down with the head coach. And then boom, we get it. They have fired Steve Wilks. And so I would be hard pressed to say that I didn't see this coming. I definitely felt that after listening to the press conference yesterday that there was definitely something going on there. And sure enough, the 49ers have let go of Steve Wilks. He is no longer the 49ers defensive coordinator. And wow. So now the 49ers will have to go on the hunt. Now they have to hire another coach. And so now it is going to be fascinating to see what the 49ers actually do here and where they go and who they look to fill. And I know there are some popular names out there right now, including Mike Vrabel and of course, Bill Belichick. So those are two of the huge names that are going to be discussed for potential defensive coordinator candidates to come in. I'm still trying to look through some of the information that is literally coming out right now. So as it stands, this is from Matt Barrows. Shanahan said that he'd like to retain the system his players have been playing in recent years and have gotten used to. So it sounds like the 49ers are going to try to do the same exact thing that they did with Steve Wilks, which is keep all the staff that they currently have. So Chris Kosurik, Johnny Holland, Bullocks, all their defensive coaches and the same system and scheme, and then find a defensive coordinator to plug in that can just kind of fit around what they've already built. So it really sounds like Kyle wants to keep the structure of what it is. It's a big reason why they didn't go after Vic Fangio last year, because Fangio ran a 3-4 and the 49ers run a 4-3. That means they'd have to change their entire system. and that's not something that Kyle Shanahan wants to do. So will a Bill Belichick want to do that? I don't necessarily see that being a great fit, because Bill Belichick's one of the greatest coaches of our generation. He's an old dog. He's not coming in here to fit into anyone's system. He's got his own way of doing business. Um, it's hard to even see Bill Belichick as a defensive coordinator, let alone trying to fit into someone else's scheme. So that to me almost kind of cancels out any potential that it's going to be, that it would be Bill Belichick. But I am very intrigued by Mike Vrabel. That's for sure. Could Mike Vrabel be a guy that would fit into that situation? Maybe. I don't know, but I would love to see it. I think Mike Vrabel would absolutely be a guy that you would love to have in the building. Everyone who's worked with him speaks very highly of him. And they also talk about him, Vrabel, that is, as just being a football guy. Would that work with fitting in with Kyle, fitting into the scheme? I don't know. That would be very interesting to determine. But hey, that's definitely a name that I'm looking for. That's a name that I'm busting down doors and seeing if we can get that done. But man, what a wild turn of events. Whoo, Steve Wilks is out as defensive coordinator right now, and again citing not being a fit, which I think has been abundantly clear that it just wasn't a fit from the very beginning. All the drama about him moving from the booth down to the sidelines for better adjustments and things like that, and I think it's just apparent that based on what Kyle's looking for, again, it just wasn't a fit. And so Steve Wilks is out as defensive coordinator. Wow, what? It's like I'm surprised that they actually pulled the trigger, but I'm also not surprised. And like I talked about, like I said earlier, I talked about this on the live, that he didn't use definitive language. And when you're talking about moves in the offseason, if coaches and general managers aren't using definitive language, that leaves things up for interpretation. And this is the exact reason why you don't just say, he said he expects everyone to be back, so that's what it is. No, you say, you didn't use definitive language, so we're going to sit here and wait and see what actually happens. And sure enough, almost 24 hours, I don't even know if it's exactly 24 hours after Kyle Shanahan says he expects everyone to be back, he is gone. Steve Wilks is out of here. Oh boy, what a wild start to the offseason. But I need to hear from all of you. Let me know how you're feeling about this in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.